Hey everyone, we're in the Scalarium getting a look at our new look, which is probably one we are going to be sticking with for a while. I am glowing permanently green with two separate effects. One is the runes up and down the arm with the sort of green cloud, and the other is the green sparkles. We got a new, well, new to her, green dragon pet to match. I'm not going to turn Sharp completely green. He has to run with other people, and he really, uh, I'm not going to change him every time to a different outfit for different characters. So he's going to stick with his black and gunmetal. But I finally got a full set of Scalarium gear, and this is the main set that I'm wearing that gives me the runes and the green glow. And then as an appearance gear, I'm wearing the Hierophant's outfit, which is giving me the green sparkles. So this is amazing. The Spattering Disjunction belt. It's crit chance, weapon and spell damage, and then with 5 items, which I got by running the Infinite Archive over and over and over and over. Dealing damage with an arc and its ability applies 2 random status effects to your target, generates Crux. This effect can occur once every 7 seconds. Dealing damage with a Herald of the Tome ability reduces this cooldown by 0.5 seconds up to once every 1 second. Increases damage done with status effects by 40%. So that's significant, which means I am completely, my skills now are all doubled down on Herald of the Tome. So my infinite is Herald of the Tome, and I'm using 4 Herald of the Tome front bar abilities. The only thing that's different is Curative Surge, which is really my only way of healing Sharp if he needs it. So stuff just melts off. It's incredibly satisfying to be using this set. She's really hard to kill, and I like that. So let's continue on. Oh, also, because she has set pieces, I took off that other mythic, and now I'm wearing the Ring of the Wild Hunt, which increases movement speed by 15% while in combat, increases movement speed by 45% while out of combat, so she runs very fast. It's all really nice. Okay. Our story, part 2. To his credit, he did not seem to doubt my credentials, only his luck. Where I was known by many names, he was known only by Shalador. He'd heard tale of my accomplishments in whatever far-flung corner of the world he'd come from. He'd sought me out to bear witness to my magic. I knew of Shalador, of course. Who didn't? What he'd said about the swamp being a glacier suddenly made sense. He was many lifetimes older than me, and yet still fool enough to land himself in my little garden. I laughed aloud. I laughed about that, and eventually, over tea, I got him to crack a smile as well. All through the storm we spoke, stopping only to top up the kettle. I interrogated him about his magic, and he mine, and we charted a map of our differences in method and practice. All that winter we talked and wrote and read and shared companionable silences. When I was summoned for my skills as a witch, priestess, or healer, he would follow to observe, never butting in, helping only when I called for it. When others asked about him, I joked that he was my apprentice. He never refuted it. I think he preferred his anonymity. And so he stayed. We did not share a bed then, but kept each other warm through our constant conversations. He seemed more interested. I think there's supposed to be a word in. He seemed more interested in all the details of my comparatively short but eventful life, than expounding on all the places he'd been, the people he'd met, the things he'd seen in his many years of life. He could have left at any time, and I'd have had plenty of cause to send him away. But I'd grown fond of him. He must have felt the same, for he didn't speak of leaving until the snow was melting with spring, fast on the way. It was then that he broke the ice, so to speak. He told me that he knew the secret to a life everlasting, and that he wanted to share it with me. Our story, part 1. For the sake of our future children and grandchildren, I'll put these tales to paper for posterity, for I know my husband will not. Even if he wrote about such sentimental things, you know how he is. Sometimes I think his notes just grow wings and flutter off. I was a wild thing back when we met, raised by clever folk who made their homes all over Skyrim. They were not the parents of my birth, but told me my mother was a Nord and my father was a Briarheart, and that I was stolen as a babe from the nest of a hagraven. I was a wild, tempestuous, and beaky child, sharp and spiteful beyond my years. I loved to talk and play with the birds in the wood or the animals in the glen, and I guarded my heart with brambles, so I never doubted this truth to the tale of my parentage. I grew steady like a reed in the riverside, the whirls of magic I could see moving along the land, guiding my hand and teaching me so very much. My way of looking and speaking and acting in the world made me beloved by my clan for what I could do, even if not for who I was. Shalador just appeared one day, quite suddenly. I rarely got a moment to myself, sometimes always after me for my magic. Someone always after me for my magic. I valued my solitude. I was not happy to see it disturbed by some bewildered stranger appearing in the middle of my alchemy garden, stumbling all over my whitecaps and impstools. I tore into him for his irresponsibility and scolded him for his sloppy portal magic, opening a passageway to a place one had never been before. He seemed to get his bearings, and he argued right back that he'd been here before when the place was a broad glacier and not a swamp, and thereby not inhabited by shouting swamp witches like me. And that gave me pause. Not the insult, the title of swamp, which rather charmed me, but the cottage where I took residence had stood there for an age or longer, shared for generations by wandering clever folk. I'd never known the land around it as anything but marshland, but by the state of things, it had been so for hundreds of years. I was annoyed, but the wind picked up as the blizzard roared in, so I sourly bade him into my hut for shelter. There I learned he had returned to Skyrim after many years abroad in search of someone called the Warrior Witch of Kyne's Aegis, and another someone who was a priest of Ihunal wandering the Pale, and another someone who was a clever woman living in the Druach Mountains. I told him that I happened to be all three of those things, and that I was happy to add Shouted Swamp Witch of Hjalmar Cold as of that day.
Through you, my work finally lives on. Gather any allies you choose. We will see if the Crow deems you worthy. If you are the inheritor of the Scholarium. See you on the other side.
It's time for your final... Did I hear the Crow say she's a luminary? I thought she was Ulfsild's familiar. I suppose she could be both. Wait, hold on, congratulations! You're heading into your final trial!
Ulfsild said I could gather any allies I wanted for this trial. Do you want to join me?
I guess that makes sense, since the portal to get here was keyed to 2 people. And after all, it's my duty as a Knight of the Lamp to follow you into the unknown, to protect you from the dangers therein.
So you're with me?
You're damned right I'll see this through to the end with you. I wouldn't have it any other way. I can't wait to see what the Votary Commander and Guildmaster Galarian make of all this.
All right, let's get in there then.
This must be the Crow's domain. Incredible! Maybe those echoes can tell us more.
Okay, running so fast that the adjustments, it's going to take me a little while.
This ritual has taken everything I had and more. It worked, I think, and I will leave part of myself behind. Will it be enough for those that come after? Will anyone follow in my footsteps? I refuse to believe all this work was for nothing. My inheritor could come from anywhere, from a distant era. A brighter time, I dare to hope. I trust the luminaries. They will ensure the right person steps into the role. Any attempt to save the Scholarium would only provoke Sheogorath. As far as I know, the Daedric princes know nothing of the luminaries. I have to seal this place away, so it feels like locking away part of my heart and soul. I suppose in some ways, it is.
These echoes must be from Ulfsild's final days here. They're so personal. And unfortunately, none are quite as instructive as the ones she left in the Scholarium.
If this is part of the trial, what do you think they're trying to tell us?
So far, they're just reinforcing what we already knew. Ulfsild sealed away the Scholarium to protect it from Sheogorath. Kind of lovely, actually, the way she said it was for the luminaries. And there was that bit about a ritual. Did you catch that?
Do you know what ritual she was talking about?
Maybe it was the sealing ritual, something she left behind to protect the Scholarium. She described it as a piece of herself? Wait, the echoes, look! What are they pointing at?
Oh my god, my motion. It's gonna take me a little while. Wow, okay. See, if I just tap my mouse, I move a huge amount now. The crow was fond of talking and traveling and shiny things. Only one in the woods answered her call and matched her wits. He was the raven, handsome and solitary and wise from his many years. Before too long, they were birds of a feather, building a grand nest together. All the magic of the forest was theirs. The crow collected shinies, gifts from her friends in the woods. At first, the raven had many questions. I can see the worth of these gifts in power, but of what of these gifts in mystery? Mystery is in red. They reward my curiosity, answered the crow. Curiosity is in red. And these gifts of loyalty, loyalties in red. They were given to protect me. Protect in red. So, mystery is the dragon, curiosity is... Now, yeah, it's the four luminaries, huh? Protect is the griffin, loyalty is the Indrik, and curiosity is probably the Netch. They strengthen our friendship, Crow explained. It's an awful lot of unexpected charity. Oh, charity and compassion. Okay, that's in red, and compassionate is in red, the raven observed. My friends are compassionate. It is good to share things, like our nest. There's plenty of room for us and more. Though the raven quickly lost interest in these curios, he saw they made the crow happy, and made no complaint when she stashed these gifts beneath their grand nest. Are you catching on to this? I mean, it's really obvious at this point, isn't it? Ulfsild, Shalador, the raven is Shalador, and she is the crow. One day the raven told the crow he was thinking of bartering their nest. The crow was distraught. What could her raven have possibly considered trading their nest for, and to whom? He told her a stranger offered to trade it to him for a star. His eyes glittered with a longing she had never seen before. The raven spoke of what wondrous things he could do with such a shiny gift. Had something changed in him, or had he always been this way? Crow wouldn't say, nor could she stop him. Once the raven's bargain was in motion, there was no going back. The raven knew he had done wrong. He offered to help the crow move what he could of her cash beneath the nest, but the crow refused. If they were incomplete, if they were seen, if any of the gifts from her friends fell in the hands of the stranger, it could spell disaster. So the crow chose to leave her treasures hidden and under secret guard. She plucked her own feathers, practically enough to make another crow, and without fully realizing how she'd done it, Feather Crow was born in her image, a being not unlike her friends of the forest. Crow told the Feather Crow to hide herself among the dark leaves and guard her gifts. Crow could not promise her return. She would leave this place. Her feathers would grow back. She would build a new nest. From that nest would come fledglings, fed on the tale of Crow's grand treasures, the gifts given by her friends of the forest. Where others saw dark leaves, the fledglings would recognize their mother's feathers. But Feather Crow came from Crow. For all their talk of adding others to their nest, Feather Crow knew it remained barren. Then let the fledglings come from anywhere, the crow decreed, so long as they have the strength to make a vow to embody the virtues of my friends in the forest. Their gifts and magic will be shared with them in return. Make a
Maybe
vow.
there's something with the echoes in that book. See if they have anything more to say.
Okay, so make a vow is also in red. Okay, looks the same. Interpret the fable of the crow. Mystery, curiosity, loyalty, protection. Okay.
Relationships do not lose their verse when they end. You can carry someone with you in other ways. But while it lasts, there's such joy in loyalty to one's friends. How will you vow to respect them?
I will take a vow.
Speak your vow of loyalty.
Vow to be compassionate to those I care about.
Your vow has been sworn. Kindness is like the first snow of winter. Get enough of it all at once, and soon it starts to stick. When I pass from this world, I'll never look back and wish I'd been less charitable. Will you vow the same?
I will take a vow. I think I messed
Speak
this
your
up.
vow of charity.
Yeah, charity should have been compassionate. I vow to protect others to the end of, I'm gonna choose loyalty. I vow to be loyal to others. Nah. No, I'm gonna try to protect. So I'm assuming there's a correlating for each one, and compassionate should have been this one. But I'm gonna say protect. And then the other one needs to be loyal. I vow to protect others to the end of my days.
Your vow has been sworn. What lies always ahead of you, so you will never see it. What is always coming, but never arrives.
Yeah, this should have been curious.
Existence itself is a mystery. An unmapped territory spread out before you. Will you take a vow to explore it?
I will take a vow.
Speak your vow of mystery.
I vow to be curious about what lies ahead.
Your vow has been sworn. You have potential, but you do not understand yet.
Yeah, let me do this again. Okay.
Was something supposed to happen? Try looking at the fable again.
Loyalty.
Speak your
Vow.
vow of loyalty.
Loyalty is protection.
Your
Charity is
kindness.
compassion.
Speak your vow of charity. Your vow has...
And then the other one is curious.
What lies on? Speak your vow. Your vow has been sworn.
Okay, yeah. There we go.
And you are ready to take the next step.
Our way forward. Now, the real work begins.
It'd be cool if this was like a house you could live in. A visit to do crafting. I mean, probably wouldn't because my house is prettier, but... Labyrinthian, which was built by Shalador.
Welcome
You
to
can
the
visit it.
Labyrinthian, or at least my version of this ancient maze.
So Labyrinthian was built by Shalador. You can visit it in Skyrim. And I believe it's mentioned in Daggerfall. I think you go to it in Daggerfall. Either Daggerfall or Arena, I'm not sure which one.
Welcome to my roost, to the wing of the crow. I am a luminary just like the others, though I'm the youngest of our number by far. Right now, my fable lacks a fitting end. I hope that you and Nahlia can change that.
Why didn't you tell us that you're a luminary of magic?
Pin feathers, mortal. When we first met, I didn't know your quality. I spent many years in solitude, guarding and hoping to guide. Now, here we are. You, a worthy inheritor to Ulfsild's legacy. Me, the proctor in your trial. Are you ready to begin?
I'm ready. What do I do?
I shaped my domain to be the perfect trial space, based on Shalador's Labyrinthian. It will finally prove you are the one I have awaited. Showcase what you have learned in your journey to master scribing. We start here, in the Luminary Antechamber.
What is the challenge here?
Ulfsild named us Luminaries, magical lights in the darkness. This puzzle asks you to set braziers ablaze in honor of that name. Just think back to your time with the dragon. You know everything you need to complete this puzzle. Good luck.
I'll get started then. So I think what the book meant in its allegory, where she said she pulled her feathers. So in the first two books, The Stories of Us, she was talking about children or children's children. They never had any children, which is what came from the final fable. And her grief of losing the Scalarium is what caused the crow to come about as a luminary. I'm not sure anymore if they're one and the same. I guess I thought from the last time I did this that they were one and the same, but I think that may be revealed later. I'm not certain, but the crow may be Ulfsild, or may be yeah, it gets confusing. Anyway, here we go.
This is amazing. The Labyrinthian, the real one anyway, was built by Shalador to test potential archmages. And now here we are.
Crow said we need to solve a puzzle to move ahead. Something with the braziers.
I overheard. And she mentioned the dragon. Do you think it's another riddle? Magnus, I hope so. I bet this is an opportunity for you to use Ulfsild's lens to get things started.
I'll look around.
I'm here to help, my friend. Just talk to me if you need a quick way to put out the flames and start again. I've got a spell for that. Here we go.
Right, let's get into it. Okay, solve the riddle of luminary fires. I don't actually remember how to do this. I think I've only really done this once. I don't know if I've done it once or twice. Flame of the Dragon.
Develop a keen mind.
Buoyant and breezy.
Just went up. You did it!
Oh, okay. But I didn't do anything. What are these? Oh, they're ice skellies. Is that... Are you guys okay? They don't look okay. They don't look okay. Alright, well, that was... Yay. There's pure luck. So Labyrinthian wasn't just built to test potential archmages. Most people who went into it actually died. So they're really, you know,
But
playing
I
up
bet
that
that quick
Shalador
trip
was a
down.
complete asshole.
Hello, friends. You're not meant to go straight down. That's why I'm here.
Fox!
It's you! Hi! It's me.
Hey, baby.
When the Griffin told me you'd entered the Crow's Wing, I knew you needed me. After all, Ulfsild told me you would. I'm supposed to help you get past this next bit.
Ulfsild told you to help me?
Yes. See? Just like your knight said, we're pretty high up in the air. The way forward is on the far side of this maze chasm thing. The path to get there is very narrow and invisible, and mostly marked by scent. But that's why I'm here.
How are you gonna help me find the path?
There are a couple of wards along the way. You reveal and break them, and I can dig to reveal the path. Easy. Remember, we have to move quick. And, don't look down.
Let's get going then.
I can sniff out the path as you break the wards.
Yeah, this is gonna be hard with really good speed. Huh?
Dig. Here's a focal point to start you off. Watch your step.
Too fast. Oh, okay. Let's see.
Follow
Oh,
close and go
rigid.
quick. This is so fun. Nice. We should be able to make it to the next platform.
Thanks, Agnes, solid ground. Are we done?
We're done with the first half. Yup. Get ready for part 2. Off we go. Keep up and eyes out for those wards. We're doing great! Keep it up!
Wow, these guys are blocking my... Alright, let me pull in my visibility. Won't let me target that one. That's weird. It was up there, but the target point was down here. Oh, wow. Yeah, this speed is crazy. I should probably take my ring off, but I'm not gonna.
Sorry, friends, we're almost there. Almost done. Ah, we made it! We were so high up. That was so much fun. You did great. This is where I leave you. I know you can do it. Good luck.
Thank you, Fox. Okay, so yeah, my front bar is pretty much permanently going to be the way that it is. Oh. So yeah, you see people, the ice skellies, there's ice damage, shock damage. So that little eye over my head comes from, oh, it's because I didn't switch. Okay, my back bar has inner light. So it says when slotted you gain major savagery and prophecy, increasing weapon and spell crit rating by nearly 3,000. Max magic increased by 5. I have it slotted on the back bar. I don't know if that counts, but it won't do any harm because I'm never switching my back bar. So it doesn't matter if it's there or not. It's only, you know, the skill points that went into it. And I've got... Okay, which way am I headed? Okay. Thankfully...
Some of those unstable orbs again, blocking our path. Do you see a focal point? I bet that's the key. That did it! Keep an eye out. Could be anything in here.
Oh, thank you for making a not terribly difficult maze. I appreciate it.
Adventurer, welcome to the end. You've overcome innumerable challenges, and you stand poised to fulfill the legacy left behind by Ulfsild all those years ago. You are the inheritor of the Scalarium.
Thank you, Crow. What else is left to do to complete your trial?
You've collected grimoires, scoured the world for scripts, and scribed powerful spells and skills. You have power, Inheritor, and I want to see you demonstrate it.
How do I do that? I know how I do that. I kill something big.
No matter how clever or compassionate we are, we must fight for what we believe in. Gather your feathers, use what you've learned on your journey, and defeat the beast of the maze. Good luck.
We'll see it done.
Rise, Altaria!
Yeah, I'm really
Nice,
afraid
is
of
it?
that.
This I can do. Oh, watch out! Can you see a focal point? The orbs have to be conjured from a warp.
Get out of there!
Great work!
The ultimate test.
Heads up, we've got some orbs! Quick, Chimera Fall! Can you get to a focal point? Find the warp, dispel it! That did it!
Prove yourself, Inheritor.
Keep moving! We need to hold out a bit longer!
A marvelous display of power. Precisely what I wished to see.
As you see, even my staff now glows with the same effect. I love this outfit. Yeah. Ah! Sorry. Got all excited.
Altarioth could meet no more fitting end. Inheritor, you've come all this way on the wings of fables. Let me tell you one final story. In the last days of the Scalarium, Ulfsild's heart was filled with sorrow.
She said as much in her final echoes.
Ulfsild gave up so much to develop the art of scribing. The Scalarium was her home, and the luminaries were her family. On the precipice of losing everything, she spread her wings and soared. She enacted a rite, the ultimate act of scribing.
What did the rite do?
She gathered every scrap of evidence she found during her time with the luminaries, and created one of her own. A wellspring of magic, the heart of the Scalarium, was expended through the scribing altar, and I was born.
Ulfsild created you?
The scribing rite flashed the Archmage's mind upon the gathered power, and so I am her from that moment. I went from woman to crow, and had precious little time to speak with myself before the Scalarium was torn away.
Ah, so yeah, it is her. Transformed into a luminary, not exactly her. That's incredible.
I am the crow, a piece of Ulfsild left behind to see scribing passed to you, to the world.
The luminaries. Look!
She wisely used her power to ensure her legacy.
Ulfsild's keen mind ensured you could follow in her footsteps.
She was a fierce protector, defiant for what she cared about most.
Her compassion lifted everyone around her, just as it lifted you.
I am the shadow of a singular person, a being born in sorrow, but filled with hope. I have soared on the winds of magic for centuries to be here with you today, Inheritor. I was Ulfsild, it's true, but after all these years, I much prefer my feathers. Only two things remain. Who will tend to the Scalarium, and the location of the final sigil, the last bit of power needed to amplify the altar.
What do you mean by tend to the Scalarium?
I have watched you and Nahlia as you have struggled through the trials. Life is a maze. Legacies are a blessing, and the burdens of both should not be endured alone. You are a master of scribing, but I can already sense other adventures await you.
That does tend to happen to me.
Indeed. Nahlia, Knight of the Lamp. Do not shirk from my gaze. You have proven yourself, side by side, through challenges of the mind and heart. I would have you take up the mantle of the Scalarium's librarian, its master.
I'll talk to her about it.
Excellent. Then that just leaves my sigil. Ulfsild's sigil. After she completed the rite and left me to safeguard the Scalarium, she took that symbol with her. I sense its final resting place, along the water's edge in the hold of Eastmarch.
Understood. Nahlia and I will seek it out.
Hang on. Me? Tend to the Scalarium? What will I tell the Votary Commander? In the meantime, let me get that portal to Eastmarch going.
You'll do just fine, Knight. I will await both of you back at the altar.
She couldn't hear you. She'll do it. I do like that it doesn't put you in charge with everything, but kind of makes you friends with everybody who's in charge of everything. I think that's a much better solution.
I don't see a sigil, but she did leave us an echo.
That's my dragon. It turns, when it summons somewhere, it arrives first as a red imp and then turns into a dragon.
It's Ulfsild, but she looks older, happier.
It's been years since my time in the Scholarium, but I realized I never left a final message behind. As my life draws to an end, I've left a few things unsaid. I'm certain history won't carry on my name. I never sought recognition. I created scribing to understand magic better, to understand myself better. But of course, my journey did not end when I left the Scholarium. The ritual to create a luminary took an enormous toll. It took years to recover, and Shaladov was long gone by that point. It was a dark time, but it wasn't the end of my story. Dark chapters are just that, moments in time, downturns in the tale. Things got better. I found new purpose, students eager to learn, new partners in research, and new partners in life. When I was a young woman, I was obsessed with the Scholarium, with the power of the luminaries. As I cast this echo, surprised how easily the magic came back to me. I have much to be grateful for. I'm a respected hedge wizard in Skyrim. They know me only as a compassionate, wise teacher. Which brings me back to you. I know you didn't walk this path alone. I made sure of it. I hope it was worth it. Take from this place the sigil of the Crow, and know that Ulfsild the Evergreen never forgot her magical friends.
Thanks, Ulfsild.
My days will end soon, I think, but they end happy. With me at my little desk, in my little home, scratching away in some journals. My fever, my story, ends where it began. Now go, and scribe your own.
I will. We will. I promise.
No, she made me cry.
Ulfsild gave up so much when she left the Scholarium behind. It sounds like she found her own path in the end. Makes me feel better about all of this.
All of what?
Well, the Crow wants me to be the master of the Scholarium. She wants me to step into Ulfsild's boots. It's a bit overwhelming. Those are some big boots. But knowing how much Ulfsild dealt with, all she went through and struggled.
You want to try to live up to what she did?
You said it. Scribing, the Scholarium, it was her life's work. If I can help keep it going, maybe even bring it to others through the guild. I can think about that later. Let's get the sigil back to the altar. Finish what we started.
Right, let's head back.
One last portal for you, my friend.
I really like that storyline. It does take a while, but I really like it.
Ulfsild left behind the sigil. Your sigil. She had a long, happy life after the Scholarium, Crow.
I'm relieved to hear it. The altar is yours, inheritor.
That's up to my colleague here. Nahlia, what's your plan?
I think I'm going to stay on here. See what happens if we open the Scholarium to the world. You know what? I think maybe, just maybe, my parents might be impressed with me next time I go home to visit.
I would tell her your parents should worry about impressing you. But I don't get to. Are you going to become the Scholarium's librarian like the Crow wanted?
I'm going to start by convincing the Votary Commander to keep me assigned here. Scribing is a lost art form because Ulfsild worked alone and in secret. If we open the doors of the library to the guild...
You think the guild will take to scribing?
If there's one thing about the adepts of the Mages Guild, they love an intellectual puzzle. Maybe someday, there might be an altar like this one in every guild hall across Tamriel. But that's for tomorrow. Today, we owe you an enormous thanks.
It was quite the journey, Nahlia.
The altar is completely restored. Every wing of the Scholarium is open and humming with power. And it's all thanks to you. Together, you and I returned scribing returned Ulfsild's legacy to the world. I can't wait to see what you make of it. Crow, how would you feel about us opening our doors to the Guild? Letting the world appreciate Ulfsild's legacy firsthand.
I believe Ulfsild the Evergreen would have loved that.
Okay. That is the end of the scribing storyline. Let me see if there's anything new at the vendor. Cries from empty mouths. Translated by Verderil, Sijic Order. We know very little of the Sinestral language, which complicates efforts of translation into the common word. I've used Yoku as a starting foundation, but the two languages diverge considerably despite the geographical proximity of the relevant people. Nonetheless, I believe the following story hews as close to the original as is possible to achieve today. As you read, note the interesting switch between verse and prose. It's unclear whether there was an artistic flourish or if it represents a cultural detail. Also, I won't claim to be a skilled poet. I stuck to translation instead of creative interpretation. Long after the battle fell silent, I sat still on ichor-slick stone, regarding the fallen across the field. A cloud of moans drifted to me, rich with confusing despair. I sought our battle sage and gestured to the crying mass. Why do they cry out, wise ones? We do not care for their wails, and no one else listens. Our enemy believes a falsehood while they lived, bladed one. Like us, the Yokuden knows life is brief and nothing awaits them in the final after. Rather than accept this, they tell stories that hide and obscure, stories of an immortality that awaits after a mortal death. Their society clings to these beliefs, and through repetition, hope to make them real. As their life draws to a close, the Yokuden's grip on these stories slips. The dying see clearly what we Kanyurai know. Nothing awaits past the final after. Pity them, for the sudden confrontation with the real brings them terror. Thus, the cries. No moons rose on the wagon ride home. In the thick black I thought on these words. What cowards do we fight? What weakness? Bile rose into my throat, too. Imagine a people convinced the real has no hold on us all. Once more I sought my teacher, his placid face ready for questions. Our enemy hears their wailing kin. How can they still believe the stories? Do you know the Yakuden idea? Honor, force existing outside the self? Our enemy thinks it grows by their actions and persists beyond death. To them, if one accumulates enough honor, then death becomes temporary. The living still hold to the story of honor, while the dying confront the truth. We know that truth, don't we, Bladed One? There is bone and dirt, blood and smoke, flesh and metal. This is the real. While many stages of death exist, it's the final after there is nothing. While many stages of death exist, in the final after there is nothing. Knowing this makes our people strong. We tell no stories for comfort, so we fight to stay in the here and now. A fire flickered and cracked, throwing shadows around my home. Sat still by my rough stone hearth, feeling its heat enter my skin. Life beyond this one enticed me, a seductive story to hear. The fire popped and cinders leapt out, glowing motes landing on my hand. Through the pain, understanding came. That which I see and feel is the truth.
As a veteran of the Guild with a penchant for the identification and illumination of ancient secrets, a little advice. The cute little coffers carved with inscrutable runes? Never worth the next day headaches. Sorry, you came to shop. Take a look.
Alright, so yeah, this is what's left is an achievement. So it looks like these scripts change week by week. I'll be coming back most Tuesday mornings for a while. The Chronicler's Travelogue, let's see. Okay, these are Travelogues. Chronicler's Travelogue Volume 4. From the Travelogue of the esteemed Chronicler Ferrandel of the Mages Guild. We arrived at the outskirts of the Iliad ruin just before dark. I wanted to delve inside and begin our work, but as a more junior member of the team, my recommendation was ignored. Thus, I found myself pitching tents and crafting makeshift stalls to transform our ragtag caravan into a camp worthy of our mission. It was a great honor to be chosen for this endeavor. Not many are asked to join the senior members of the guild in exploring the remnants of the famed Heartland elves. I spent many nights poring over texts and recounts of previous expeditions in preparation. Waiting until daylight seemed almost torturous. It should surprise no one that instead of getting a well-deserved rest, as Wizard Tlogly suggested, I snuck into the darkness on my own. Armed with mage light, some notebooks, and a water skin, I made my way deep into the recesses of the ruin. I don't know how long I wandered. Time seemed inconsequential in those off-white halls. Before I knew it, dawn broke over the crests and arches of the Iliad structures. My absence at camp must have raised some sort of alarm, as I heard voices calling my name and searching through the site quite loudly. Wizard Tlogly was concerned, possibly even worried for my safety, but I knew I could not allow myself to be discovered without anything to show by way of explanation. So I continued away from the sounds of my fellow mages, which is when it happened. Some oddity caught my eye. When I turned to look at what it was, I saw nothing but a wall. There was nothing to suggest that this collection of stones and mortar was any different than the others in the ruins. That's where they found me, staring at a wall with immense concentration. I'm not sure how Wizard Tlogly identified what caught my attention. Instead of giving me a rather large speech about safety and staying in the camp at night, she chose to press on one of the stones. It shifted beneath her hand and revealed a stairwell into the unplundered depths of the ruin. I did not know it then, but this would not be the first time that such an odd occurrence would happen to me. It may have been the beginning of my incredible position as a chronicler, though my ability to discover what others cannot. Through my ability to discover what others cannot, I carved a path of success within the Mages Guild for myself. Chronicler's Travelogue, Volume 8. From the travelogue of the esteemed chronicler Ferrandel of the Mages Guild. I did it! I accomplished what no other mage has been able to. I convinced the priest of the temple to allow our detachment to study the Jewel of the Sphinx. Just think, when this endeavor began, I was merely tasked with ensuring that we had enticing wares and enough rations to make the trip comfortable. While this is not the most exciting of roles a mage can undertake, I was critical for the success of this mission. But as I set up my stocks and stalls, I overheard one of the warlocks pleading with the priest to be able to study one of the famed relics. The priest, distrustful, declined every proposition warlock Ulfsild made. After several minutes, it seemed as though the discussion would turn into an argument, dashing all possibilities for this crucial element of our trip to be fulfilled. That was when I made my presence known. Humbly, I spoke to Priest Zarali about my successes in finding the secret of the Iliad ruin, my discovery at the Guild Hall in Solitude, my surprising tumble into treasure at the Archmagister's summer home, and in a fit of diplomatic brilliance, I offered to look over the entirety of the temple, if she would allow my fellow mages to study Canarthi's prized jewel. Priest Zarali agreed. For as long as I search for ancient secrets in the temple, Warlock Olifana and the other mages will be able to study the jewel. Even without a single discovery, this is a great coup in relations between the priests and the guild, and of course, another feather in the cap for your esteemed chronicler. I'll set off in the morning to explore as much of the temple as I can. There may be more I need to add to my travelogues before the fortnight is out. The Ashes of Red Mountain. By unknown. Retained for posterity by scholar Churhain Fire, and transcribed in this volume. Dry, wretched ash still clings to me as I recall my expedition to Red Mountain. My search for a remedy has seen me plagued by my own skin. This truly is a divine punishment inflicted on all Dunmer. I imagine the Dwemer must be having quite the laugh wherever they wound up. Red Mountain held nothing but fragments of bone. I was breathing in the dust of those who fell in battle. My hope was to discover some leftover dwarven secret, or perhaps an artifact of my ancestors. Anything that might aid me. Hope built on baseless rumor, gossip between soldiers. Perhaps anything that might have helped disappeared along with the Dwemer. I don't know, nor do I care. My faults and insecurities got the best of me. Nearly got me killed. I cannot return to who I once was. I know that now. I must make peace with that. I hope that in time Nerevar's counselors will find a path forward. Surely this religion they seem to be... Huh. Interesting. If you've played Morrowind, that might be I think it's Yagram Bagarn is his name. The last Dwemer who had Corpus. Nahlia's Journal 3. Let's see if that's 2. I've got my newest assignment from the guild. I'll be working with some higher level adepts to explore an abandoned keep. It could get dangerous. It could get dangerous, so I was handpicked for this mission. My portals have become invaluable to the guild over the years. It's an honor, really. Except I have to deal with Julian. It's not that I dislike her, necessarily. She's talented and one of the sharpest adepts I've ever seen, but she never understood why I chose to become a votary instead of continuing my arcane studies. She has little respect for the art of swordplay. Oh well, duty calls, I suppose. The journey began typically enough. A handful of mages, with Laren and I acting as guards. We found the keep and made our way inside. Legend says the former owner of this keep had a penchant for collecting rare tomes of magic, so the study was our final destination. What the legends didn't mention, however, was the owner's paranoia that someone would try to steal his precious books, which I guess is what we came to do, but Ifray knows the dead can't read. As a result, the whole place was trapped from top to bottom. At first, Julian was irritated that Laren and I needed to clear the way for the rest of the group. She was impatient to get her hands on the books and exit the oppressive castle. With a magical glow from her staff, she felt she had enough light to see any potential dangers ahead of her. I rolled my eyes, but let her take the lead since she wanted it so badly. We progressed through the halls for a bit, when an oddly shaped slab on the floor caught my attention. Before I could warn her, Julian stepped on it. Unaware of the trap she had just activated. Julian turned to look at me, and I knew she wasn't going to be able to dodge out of the way on her own. Without thinking, I tackled her to the floor just in time to avoid the enormous, swinging blade that emerged from a hidden slot in the wall beside us. Julian's face transformed from indignant to shock as she saw how close she had come to meeting the edge of the blade. Nahlia's Journal 4. Julian looked me right in the face, lying atop her in the dusty hallway. "Good catch," was all she said, but after that, she let Laren and I go first. When we finally made it to the study, 2 spike pits, a bear trap, and 3 poison darts later, the whole group was ready to get the books and be done with it. The study was musty, covered in cobwebs, and freezing. It felt like a tomb. Bookshelves lined the walls, full of ancient and arcane volumes that even I wanted to take a peek at. The far side of the room contained a wooden desk, and behind it sat a skeleton in kingly garb. The skeleton's outstretched hands rested atop an enormous leather-bound tome, a jewel of this collection. No doubt the remains belonged to the former owner of the keep, still watching over his books even in death. Liaren and I quickly checked the room for traps. Finding none, we gestured for the mages to enter and take what they needed. Still, something didn't feel right. Why wouldn't the owner of the keep have some last line of defense for his personal library? I locked eyes with Julian, who was still cautiously investigating the bookshelves. We looked over to the desk where one of the newer adepts was attempting to pry the tome out of the bony clutch of the skeleton. "Put that down, you fool!" Julian shouted. It was too late. The skeleton sprang to life, a sinister glow emanating from its ghastly eye sockets. The adept shrieked and tried to run, but the skeleton latched onto her wrist. Before Laren and I could react, Julian fired off a blast of magicka, rattling the skeleton's jaw and loosening its grip on the adept. She left the book where it was and retreated to the other side of the room. "Votary, we could use a portal," Julian said to me. "But what about the books? We've come so far," I said. "They don't matter. I want my adepts out of here safely." Julian's eyes blazed as she sent another bolt of magic to the skeleton, who was beginning to summon a fireball in its bony fingers. I had to respect that. The portal came easily to me. The adepts retreated, some of them clutching tomes they managed to grab on the way out. Finally, it was just Laren, Julian, and I. Let's go, Larian said, but Julian hesitated. I could tell she had the idea of leaving. I could tell she hated the idea of leaving empty-handed. I did too. Wait, Julian said. She looked at me. What are you doing? Laren shouted as he ducked an oncoming fireball. Just go, I said to him. I saw that Laren wanted to argue, but years of fighting together had built a trust between us that was hard to break. Despite his reservations, he did as I asked, leaping into the portal without a backward glance. Julian was already summoning up a spell, her face a mask of concentration. Are you ready? She asked. I nodded. Without another word, Julian launched a massive blast of elemental energy at the skeleton, knocking it back off its feet. As she did so, I lunged forward and covered the last few feet to the desk, snatching the ancient tome before the skeleton could recover its balance. Julian was already disappearing through the portal as I turned back, and I hurled the book through the first before leaping in myself and closing the portal. I came back a little singed, but I can't remember the last time such a grin cracked my face. It must have been contagious, because even Julian burst out laughing at the sight of me. Working with her might not be so bad after all. Our story, part 4. I opened a portal to Ivea, or at least I thought I had. I emerged in complete darkness. But a mage is never without means of making light. I could feel masses of magicka like the sun somewhere far above me, so I began to climb through the caverns, which gave way to cleared ruins of a bygone age. At last I found daylight. I'd made it to Ivea, only very far beneath it. I swam to the center island where I saw signs of a settlement. I was a daughter of Skyrim, and the water felt warm as a bath to me. The trees were heavy with blossoms, even at this time of year. I wandered, calling for Shalador. Inside, I found myself in his study, a veritable library of parchment organized by no method known to Nur nor Oblivion. But among the scribblings, I spotted my name. Not just once, mind you. I read them, of course. I'm not ashamed to say. A year's worth of unsent letters and apologies. Confessions, false starts, academic musings, all addressed to me. I was in the middle of reading when I was startled by the appearance of a lovely high elf woman who seemed just as surprised to see me. To my relief, she introduced herself as an appointed caretaker, tending to the place while Shalador was away. Naturally, I inquired where he was away to, as I was hoping to meet with him rather urgently. But such a meeting wouldn't be possible for some time, she said, as he was headed to Skyrim. By boat to High Rock, then on by foot from there. He meant to visit an old friend, she told me, but he'd hoped to see what other marvels he might find along the way. She told me how long ago he'd left and estimated that he'd probably reach his destination any day now. By the time a portal opened, heralding his return, I'd made myself quite at home on Ivea. He appeared well-traveled, cloak stained from the road and his beard grown long and wild. In his hands were my scribbled notes on portal magic, and dozens of unsent letters bearing his name that he'd no doubt discovered upon reaching my cottage. In the long time I've known him, a smile on his face is as rare as the sun in a Skyrim winter, but I'll never forget the one he had for me that day. Caves beneath the island would someday become the Scalarium. Though our travels often led us apart from one another, we would always return to meet again on Ivea. He wished to offer me eternal life so that we might spend it together. I wished to spend my single mortal life as his partner. You might ask yourself, whose wish was the greater show of love we'd come to share? If we ever come to a consensus on that, I imagine we no longer walk this world together. Okay, I think that's just about it. I think that's everything that we can read for now. A few things might show up later. But that is the Scalarium. I really do love that storyline very much. Oh, third letter to the Mages Guild, draft copy. To Grivier Adrod, Second Secretary to the Archmagister Emeritus Vaniscalarian, from Irad Rinit, Adept, regarding ongoing work of the Scalarium. Greetings to the Secretary and the Archmagister. Thank you for the cleaning supplies and preservation spells. They've made quite a difference in resolving the many problems that have arisen in maintaining the ancient texts. I will send along some transcriptions of the oldest works for your consideration. Strongly recommend that unique volumes remain within the Scholarium. They are quite fragile with age, to the point that some disintegrate when the covers are first opened. In addition to the delicate volumes, the adepts have been challenged by the state of storage and shelving. Some shelves have practically rotted out through the intermittent dampness. Others suffer from dry rot to the point that an entire shelving unit collapsed the other evening, almost crushing poor votary Nahlia. We've also found a number of unreadable volumes, and the adepts are split as whether they contain highly personal magical notations or some sort of cipher used to secure their secrets. My personal opinion is that we're looking at some sort of heretofore unknown Elnofe's daughter language. Elnofe's daughter language. No, Ehinofe's daughter language, which, if proven true, would be revolutionary for understanding of pre-Nedic tongues. Ehinofe's and its descendants' language are another personal interest of mine, as you are no doubt aware, and I've sent along a new copy of my paper on the descendant declensional pathway that leads from the earliest languages to the poetry of Eliadun era elves. I hope to hear from you soon what you think. In any case, I will continue to keep you apprised as to our progress. Thank you for your time and attention in this matter. May Magnus watch over us. Okay. So, yeah, I will, looks like Scholarian, our story part 4? Part 3? Let me see if I can find that. If not, I think that's mostly it, folks. Yeah, I don't see it. Okay, so that is one guild storyline completely done. I think I'm going to be cycling them in. We'll be working on the Coldharbour main, which is the extension of the main quest, Glenumbra, and then I am probably going to pick back up the the Sijic line, and I might add in the Thieves Guild, because if I recall, the Thieves Guild, it does take a very long time. It's also a really good line. And I probably won't rank all the way up on screen. Okay, I'm gonna use the Way Shrine. So that we'll have a couple things to cycle through. I think I believe the Thieves Guild happens mostly in Hughes Bane, and I don't think it really jumps around the world. The Sijic does, but it's very helpful to have that line. And after those, then I will probably cycle in the Assassin's Guild. Okay. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna continue up here with the main quest. I'm gonna see if I can kill a Coldharbour world boss while I'm at it. Very few people, like, run around Coldharbour killing the world bosses, so I don't I don't think anybody's going to be up here. I'll just see. I don't really know if they're on par with regular world bosses. Okay.
About time we faced an actual challenge.
Okay. Shark is taking some hits.
Can't hold on much longer.
Yeah, Shark's gone. Hey, they're tough. Yep, I can't do that alone. Ouch.
No, not like this. You could craft something nice with that.
Okay, we are going to collect stolen Lamia eggs. I'm gonna try to avoid killing shadow elves. Once you've made a deal with the Daedra, you don't get to go, oh no, I mean I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. This fully comes under play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Oh, come on, seriously? Yeah, yeah, sorry. I don't want to. I don't want to kill you, but if you're gonna attack me, my stealth stops. I don't have any skill into it, so I'm sorry that you don't like me, but that's the way it goes.
I need aid!
Yeah, I've already failed that quest objective. I'm not really gonna try to fulfill it, even in a roleplay sense. These guys are tricky. Sorry, I think the world is a bit better without you guys. Yeah, how am I supposed to not kill them when they're inches away from the eggs? It's crazy talk. I love this mount. Look at this. I mean, how awesome is that? Oops. Not that way. Not like that.
You asked for it.
Yeah, we're technically in okay. Yeah, we're in combat. Stranglers won't actually follow me because they're stuck to the ground.
You recovered our eggs. How wonderful. My people will be most grateful to you for this.
I fulfilled my part of the bargain. Now it's your turn.
I must return these eggs to our nest, but there is one more thing you must do before my people will feel truly safe. Please, may I tell you about this final task?
Alright, tell me what else you want me to do.
A council of elders leads the wood elves. They live upon a large rock that floats above us. Queen Fajik's eggs were taken and hidden up there. You will need a key to open the portal and gain access to the floating rock.
Where do I get this key?
The key is divided into 2 shards, each protected by a Shadow Walker Guardian. As soon as you acquire the 2 shards, go to the camp in the center of the forest. My people will meet you there.
Stay ready. Never know what else might be headed our way.
Okay, so as you see now, I'm starting to get luminous inks as world drops. I don't think I got those before. Okay, meet the Lamia at the central camp.
You are the outsider who has done so much for my people. I am grateful. Perhaps when this is over, my people can live without fear or worry.
Sidneath promised your help if I aided you.
Once the tyranny of the Shadow Walkers has ended, you will have the help you need. But first, we must recover my children from the Council. Did you acquire the portal shards from the Guardians?
I have the shards.
Good. Direct the shard key toward the portal at the center of the arches. The Lamias will do the rest. Our time is now, my children. Swarm forth and reclaim what is ours. Finally, our children are avenged. The wood elves have fallen. My eggs shall be returned to my nest, and my people shall be safe. The Shadow Walkers shall be lost without their leaders. The day is ours.
You killed the elders?
What would you have us do? The wood elves slaughtered my people. They would not listen to reason. The only chance we had was to remove their leaders. Now, we shall watch the Shadow Walkers crumble.
Will you show me how to enter the tower now?
You have helped us. Now we shall help you. I instructed Zignith to head to the ruined passage that leads to the tower. You shall find her there. Know that the Lamias are in your debt. Call upon us if you ever need our strength and cunning.
I can't say they don't deserve it. Taking someone's eggs. I mean, come on. Seriously, what were you thinking?
That's it. Useful. Hold on to that.
My people rejoice. Most consider us monsters, but you helped us. We will never forget your generosity and compassion. My egg sisters will live, and life, even in this wretched place, is precious. Thank you.
I did what I needed to do.
As I promised, this door leads to the tower. I do not know what the tower holds, but we have heard the cries for help from within. Be careful in there, outsider. This is Coldharbour. Even the most mundane things can hide terrible dangers.
And what will you do now?
The Khajiit told me of a city of safety to the east. I will take some of my people, for we would very much like to see this city. We will be there if you have need of us, my friend.
I suspect I will have need of you. I believe this is a throwback to the Skyrim Meridia quest, where you guide light through the temple. Okay, yeah, there's a projection. It didn't seem as though it was voiced, but it said to bring the light with me to free him. If I recall, this is a pretty long quest. This is a big, yeah, this is a big place. You can see there's even an up arrow. There's another floor.
I have waited for centuries. And waited and waited. Do you know how boring that can be? But now, you are here. Just as Meridia foretold.
Meridia knew I was coming?
The Radiant One knows many things. She knew that one day the city she plunged into Coldharbour would serve her purpose. At first, she thought I would fulfill that prophecy. But I failed. And now, I need your help.
Where are you projecting this image from?
Have no fear. I am as alive as you are. Molag Bal has preserved me so that I can endure his endless tortures. His cruelty knows no bounds. I can't slip free of this lightless oubliette, but I have managed to send my projection to meet you.
How do I set you free?
I knew you were the one I was waiting for. Whatever your purpose here, I can help you. Especially if it has anything to do with ruining Molag Bal's day. I have heard many secrets during my time here, and I shall share them with you. You made it this far, just as I had predicted. I am glad to see that my calculations were not in error. Now, if you are ready, we have a prison to break out of.
How did you wind up in here?
I was captured shortly after Meridia pushed her city into this dread realm. This prison relies on darkness. Early on, I almost broke free. Now Molag Bal shapes the darkness itself to bind me, suppressing my attempts to escape.
So what should I do?
Molag Bal has trapped me within a pillar of darkness, infused with his own vile energy, and powered by the light of Meridia. That, however, will be his undoing. The light of Meridia can also banish this darkness, but you have to bring it to me.
I'm on my way.
To reach me, you must first unlock the prison door. Molag Bal uses crystallized darkness to hold me and suppress my power. Move the crystals from their locations to the prison door, and the way shall be opened for you.
Who are you exactly?
I am the last Ayleid king. In our ancient language, my name means ruler in dark times. I can imagine no darker time than the end of the Ayleid people.
How have you survived this long?
I am a servant of Meridia, her master tactician and strategist. Between my master's blessings and the time-distorting nature of this dread realm, I am still alive. Consider that your good fortune, for you will never defeat Molag Bal without my help.
I'll bring the light of Meridia to you.
To reach me, you must first unlock the prison door. Molag Bal uses crystallized darkness to hold me and suppress my power. Move the crystals from their locations to the prison door, and the way shall be opened for you. Enter the frozen alcove and collect the flame shadow crystal. Then place it on the center.
Okay, I didn't take the I'm not sure what happened. I don't. Maybe I have to do it before the crystal light wears off. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't remember necessarily how to do this puzzle. And I do remember it took me a long time to figure out
Let's see the tomato.
Ah, okay, I did take it. Good thing. Alright. Okay, so the light of Meridia disappears, and then... Okay, I think it has a cooldown. Alright, that's what's happening. Has a bit of a cooldown.
Enter the library and collect the Mind Shadow Crystal. Then place it on the central dais at the entrance.
Skill issue.
Yeah, whereas Zareth used to bless their passing, find peace. Sharp will just say, skill issue, as they die. Not much of a caring soul.
Get him.
Not sure if Sharp has a soul,
That'll
really.
them not to cross us.
Okay, and yeah, that's weird. This time I just took the crystal. I still have to run back, but everything in here is green and no longer aggressive, so I don't know. And the door's still blocked. Okay.
Enter the garden and collect the life shadow crystal. Then place it on the central dais at the entrance.
Let's knock some heads.
Maybe it's not on a timer, it's just that I can't use it if I'm in combat. Nope, I can use it in combat too. Okay, it's just weird. Can't figure it out. Thankfully, we'll be out of here soon. Well, out of this trial. I believe there's a second stage with, if I recall, like a reflection puzzle. Something like that. Okay, right. Right? Right? Where? What? Oh, alright. Go a long way. Ugh, I just hate those horrors. They just, I don't know, they're worse than the really scary undead just because they're filled with blood. Blah. They explode on you and bleh. It's really easy now to tell when I'm out of battle because when I'm in battle because my speed drops by 30% immediately.
Well done, my friend. Now, enter the oubliette and set me free. You have done well to make it this far. But there is still more to do to set me free. My body is imprisoned within a pillar of darkness, generated by the ebon shards to each side.
Okay, so these
Place
are...
a light of Meridia in both of the sconces. Each will create a beam of light that will strike a nearby crystal.
So I have to move the beams.
By rotating the crystals, you can change a beam's direction. You may need to rotate a crystal multiple times to connect the beams and form a path of light to the ebon shards. Adjust the crystals until the beams of light destroy the ebon shards. Then the pillar of darkness will collapse, and I shall be free.
So the problem with this, of adjusting it several times, is there's no, like, movement. You don't know if it's actually done anything. So it's a not very fun puzzle. Okay. Then your followers and pets are standing in front of it. Come on, man. Okay. So, now for the other one. So you just mostly stand here and wait for the activator to come up. Okay, there on these I'm actually seeing hearing a sound and seeing a change. So you see there's a, okay, so I see. Now it's pointing this way. So, okay. It still doesn't really matter. You just have to hit the activator till it lights up. You can't really, so yeah. Alright, now in this case, yeah, in this situation, we have an issue. Okay, so as you see, this one's activated, but it's got nowhere to go. So what we're going to do is change this until it activates this one. Now, okay, there we go. The crystal prism's right there, so that's it. That should be. Okay.
Ah, freedom at long last. My calculations suggested that you had a slightly better chance to fail rather than to succeed. I suspect, though, that you often beat the odds. Thank you.
Are you hurt?
No. A little weary, perhaps, but not injured. My mind remains sharp, however. I suggest we make our escape from this place. It is the only tactically sound option at our disposal.
No, I thought we were gonna have a picnic, man. Yeah, let's get out of here.
Allow me to create a portal to Meridia's city. We can speak there.
Why can everybody make portals except me? Look at me. I'm awesome. I'm glowing. You serve Maria and even you're not glowing. Why can't I make a portal? Well, I guess I can portal to my homes.
This portal
okay, maybe I
leads
can.
to the Hollow City. We shall talk again when we are safely inside its walls.
You know what that's good for? Ah, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's Nightshade. It's good for poison, Sharp.
I have barely set foot within these hallowed walls, and I already feel 1,000 times better. And now that you are here, we can determine our next move against the vile Molag Bal.
Do you have a plan?
I must take stock of our assets and resources. Determine just how much might we can bring to bear. Only then can I develop a strategy that shall allow us to win this war. But forgive me, I wanted to convey that you performed admirably at the tower. It is good to be back in this ancient city. I need to assess our strengths and weaknesses, determine how best to make our assault against Molag Bal. If we strike before we build up a sufficient force, however, I fear we shall lose this war.
What do you suggest?
Soldiers, the ones who call themselves the Fighters Guild. They seem strong and capable, at least at first glance. I shall speak to their leader at once.
I'm not sure who's in charge of this force.
No leader? Well, that is an unacceptable situation. I shall take command of this Fighter Guild force. It is the only logical solution. Talk to those within this building. After I consult with the groundskeeper, I shall join you inside.
The pieces begin to fall into place. With the king's aid, we shall assemble a force worthy of Meridia's blessing.
Okay. I'm going to clear out a bit of the zone that isn't guild related. So there's a delve in the southeast. I'll clear out content south of where we just were. Okay, so as you can see, alright, he's rescued. Now we'll get to this area here.
Building up the staff. Good thinking.
Cara Creatia, the Azure Plasm, by Dr. Rathandius. As a doctor of transliminal mythomysticism, I've been interested in the soul-body problem, the reformation of the Daedric body post-banishment, and the formation of the body around the essence commonly known as the vestige. Since our enforced relocation to Coldharbour, courtesy of our luminous lady, I have had considerable opportunity to observe these processes firsthand, and am now in a position to confirm many hypotheses that, upon Mundus, were fated to remain mere conjecture. It has long been understood that a Daedra, who lacks the Anuic animus known as the soul, is not killed when the body is destroyed. A Daedra slain upon Mundus is merely banished back to its plane of origin, where its morphotype, or vestige, gradually forms a new body, so that eventually the Daedra lives again. This happens as well when a Daedra is slain in its native oblivion. Furthermore, we have long known from the Daedra themselves that their bodies are formed from the very stuff of chaos, the creatia of oblivion, a shapeless but energetic material that accretes around a vestige until it conforms to the morphotype's inherent pattern. Back on Mundus, I had naively envisioned this creatia as some sort of misty, amorphous material swirling in a void somewhere. After our arrival on Coldharbour, it was some time before I realized that its ubiquitous pools of blue slime, the substance we've come to call azure plasm, was in fact the form that creatia takes upon this plane. By extension, I reasoned that chaotic creatia takes a different but plainer appropriate form in every realm of oblivion, and this theory was later confirmed for me by the rogue Zivalai, known as the Sojourner, who has had direct experience of numerous planes of existence. In fact, it was the Sojourner who first introduced me to one of those secret grottos where one can observe the process of plasma accretion in action. To find such grottos where Daedra are born, it is necessary only to observe the slow flow of the azure plasm and follow it to its destination. for plasm accretion causes a slow drain on adjacent pools. It was fascinating to watch a vestige gradually absorbing azure plasm and converting it from the general to specific, so that over time it slowly took on the size and shape of a hulking reptilian Daedroth. Then there are the poor slaves known as the Soul-Shriven. Each is a mortal kidnapped from Mundus at the moment of death, his or her soul stolen by Molag Bal for some unthinkable purpose, and given in exchange the vestige that enables him or her to form a counterfeit body here in Coldharbour. But they're not native to Oblivion, so a Soul-Shriven's body is a sad imitation of the body worn in life, suffering rapid wear and decay until it dies. A death that is no liberation, for its vestige only forms a body once again, over and over, ad infinitum. Such are the facts. What follows is speculation, born of conversations with the sojourner during his infrequent and unpredictable visits. His theory is that the Soul-Shriven's bodies are flawed because they've lost the focusing principle of their anuic souls, so their vestiges are imperfect patterns. I concurred that this is likely, and then proposed the theoretical possibility of a Soul-Shriven who, despite having lost his or her soul, possessed some other intrinsic anuic aspect. This, shall we say, paragon Soul-Shriven would form an unflawed body in Coldharbour that was a perfect duplicate of the body worn in Mundus. In fact, if this paragon bore a sufficiently high anuic valence, upon contact with Patomaic Creatia, its body would form almost instantaneously. The sojourner scoffed at my theory, but seemed taken with the idea nonetheless. He went on to speculate that if such a thing were possible, it would probably occur in a situation where the Mundus was in existential jeopardy. In that case, the heart of Nirn would spontaneously generate such paragon individuals as a way of defending itself from destruction, in a manner analogous to the way the mortal body fights off infection. Oh, Sojourner, how I miss your stimulating conversation. Such flights of fantasy. And yet, given the wonders I've seen in my prolonged existence upon this plane, is anything really impossible? Okay, so we are destroying the Daedric lenses. Oh, I have to get up there.
Good to get stocked up.
When I add you to
Bridge, okay.
Put down your weapons. We can think of better things to do.
Is this working? Can you see me? I'll try to show you what's going on inside the library while you smash those lenses. Here goes.
You good? Of course you are.
Did you see that? I'll make some adjustments while you search for the next lens.
Better overstocked than under.
I'd much rather speak to you in person. I just don't trust these magical projections. Any number of Daedra could be watching.
Intruder!
It's working. I switched the widgets with the gadgets, and that seemed to do the trick. Now let's see if I can get a view into the other part of the library. That was unexpected. I must be doing something wrong. I'll give it one more try while you hunt down the last lens.
That was cute. That was unexpected.
I think I made the proper adjustments. Now, let's see if I can spot my brother.
Lady Laurent, we need to get out of here. This place is a trap. Young Raynor has already been caught in its spell.
Oh, Tallinger, let's just stay here, you and I, forever.
No, the glamour has taken you as well.
Come, my dear. Let us find a quiet corner among all these beautiful books.
She's lost.
Books?
Damn! I need to escape before I also succumb to the spell. I'll leave them a note in case the effects wear off.
Leave them a note.
Spell?
Ah!
Why haven't I been affected? Wait. I just heard the door unlock. It should be safe now. Come meet me in the gallery at the top of the ruins.
Yeah.
You look like a sturdy one. Should I treat you to my whip or my riding crop?
Raynor! Raynor! He can't hear me. Why can't he hear me? Raynor!
Prisoner information. Raynor Venos, Dunmer, male. Notes. Dwemer artifice expert, held in room with yellow crystals and Eye of Hermaeus Mora banner. Appears heavily susceptible to illusions, but may possess Dwemer-inspired devices. Search carefully. Okay, it's making it very difficult to target her. I know. Okay, I can target a foot back of her foot.
I can see Raynor through this observation window, but he can't hear me. It must be the spell. And I bet the spell didn't affect me because I'm not attuned to whatever catalyst controls the Magicka Matrix.
The Magicka Matrix?
You know, the spell web. A pretty elegant trap, really. I think the spell's catalyst has something to do with an interest in knowledge. I'd be insulted, but what can I say? I'm in this for adventure, not scholarly pursuits. And thanks, by the way. The spell seems to be a combination of glamours and illusions. It snared my brother and the other scholarly types. Anyway, we can't leave them like that. We have to snap them out of it.
Do you have a plan?
I always have a plan. It requires you to get down there and talk some sense into them. I'll make sure the Daedra don't lock us in here again. Just find me if Raynor gives you any trouble. And be careful. Illusion magic can be tricky.
I thought the spell only affected scholars.
Sure, but there may be other spells active down there. Take a look at the observation windows and remember the details of each holding cell. The Daedra must be keeping those notes for some reason, and I believe in always being prepared.
Okay, I'm going to read and then take a screenshot of these notes because my memory sucks. But I tried to compensate with preparedness. Okay. Prisoner Lady Clarice Laurent. Breton female. Noble explorer held in room with Cross of Meridia banner and blue crystals. May be resistant to illusory spells. Observe carefully. This is Tellinger, I believe. Prisoner Tellinger Altmer, male. Notes. Capable mage held in cell with Star of Azura banner and blue crystals. Okay. Are you all right?
Am I all right? Oh, I am perfect. But I am not who you seek. You won't release them from our spell. They belong to us now. But you shall simply die.
You first. I'm sure I'll die someday. There comes the time in every adventurer's life when they simply log off and never return.
Who's next?
Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. This book is so engrossing. Could we talk later?
You need to get out of
I
here.
said I'm reading. Go bother someone with an intellect closer to your own level. I'm sure Lady Clarice and that Ultima Artificer would be happy to listen to your inane ramblings.
I'm using the persuade skill. Look around. This isn't a normal library. It's affecting your mind.
I don't know what... Wait. You're right. This place radiates Daedric magic. I can feel it in the back of my skull. We need to free the others. Find Lady Clarice. I remember, she realized something important before we were drawn into the spell.
Will you be all right?
I think so. I can still feel the spell tugging at my mind, though. Just in case, Kirith and I are going to our camp outside of the ruins. But I'm worried about the others. Since the spell doesn't seem to affect you, can you look for Lady Laurent?
What happened in
Lady
here?
Laurent, Tellinger, and I decided to take advantage of our good fortune and explore this old library. The possible gain in knowledge far outweighed any risk involved. But as soon as we stepped inside, the spell started to take hold.
You should get to safety.
Thanks. Kirith and I will head for our camp outside the ruins. Meet us there after you find Lady Laurent and the Artificer.
Raynor sent me to find you.
Raynor sent you? But why? I just found the most fascinating... Wait, where am I?
You were caught in a Daedric spell.
I see. I suppose I should ask whether or not you're part of this elaborate trap, but I sense that you're not an illusion. Oh, I can feel the spell, however, crawling back, trying to slip into my mind. What an odd sensation.
Do you know anything about these ruins?
I remember that we discovered something or another, but the details elude me. Perhaps if I had more time to recover from the effects of the spell... wait a moment. Tellinger said something important just before I became engrossed in this relic.
Where's Tellinger now?
I wouldn't know exactly, but I'm sure Tellinger's around here somewhere. He's really quite clever, and dashing to boot. He reminds me of my good friend Stibbins.
Oh. Oh, so the running joke with Lady Clarice Laurent, who we will meet, and her and Stibbins over and over, is she's completely oblivious to any danger, and she treats Stibbins like crap, and Stibbins does everything he can to help her. So calling him her good friend, is actually very sweet. Do you remember what happened?
Well, let me see. We decided to take a look around this old library. I was sure there had to be a treasure or two to make it worth our while. Young Raynor became ensorcelled almost immediately and ran off. After that, things kind of get fuzzy.
You should head for safety. I'll find Tellinger.
Thank you. I'm going to get out of here. I need to find someone.
Oh, she's gonna find Stibbins. Except she's not gonna find Stibbins, because I have to find Stibbins. Okay, so we already found the correct Lady Clarice, so the other ones aren't going to activate.
Over so soon.
I worked really hard on those things being over really soon. So I'm not sorry.
I'm rather busy right now. Come back later.
Are you the artificer who arrived with the Mages
No,
Guild?
not even a little. You won't find your artificer, and you'll never leave here alive!
Oh, that's right. I could have used the notes to, see the banners and the crystals. Okay. Yep. But I didn't. Okay. Knights of the Gleaming Blade. Curano, Exarch, and Brightblade, first in the name of the High King and beloved by the Lady herself. In her name you are hereby ordered to make haste for the city of Abigarlas. The king has authorized your requested soldiery, and you are permitted to leave Delodil the following people of faith. Lanath, the former exarch of Dark Abigarlas, and newborn in her service. Andar, Primarch and Brightblade in her lady's service. Valasha, High Priestess and Sunwalker in her lady's service. Osteran, Peladric Blade, and Beholden in her lady's service. You are to escort the blade Osteran and safeguard the relic he carries. Every effort has been made to ensure your success in this quest, and all weapons and armors in the city stores are at your disposal. Oh, so these are the people that we met in the dungeon with the replay of the past. The Vivicus must be destroyed at all costs. In faith, eyes turn toward the sunburst. Latish. If you can read this, open it. I placed a spell of protection on this note, making it invisible to the Daedra. If you're reading this, you're not a Daedra, so I can probably trust you. I hope it's you, Clarice, or that promising young Raynor. I dread to imagine that you are both still trapped in this terrible place. The magic here is strong, stronger even than mine. I wouldn't have believed myself so susceptible to simple illusions. Drastic measures must be taken. I discovered a vault in the lower levels. I plan to lock myself within, hopefully remaining clear-headed long enough to work out a plan of escape. Find me in the vault, then we can escape together. Tellinger. So things are taking massive damage just because of this set and the passive passives that's giving status effects. You can see them light up with negative effects. Okay, so I think I need to go here, down, through. Let's...
You asked for it.
Even just my staff is pretty deadly. If I add any of my debuffs,
got to be better than that to stop us.
They're pretty screwed. Which is good! I like that. Now I just fly off of staircases. Ripped and discarded page. And that's the truth. Now I don't know if Osterand was misled, or if the king's vision was incorrect. Rainbow of light that she is, the bright one sometimes sends signs importance that are difficult to understand. But this is what he said. The Abergarlians have a weapon, a powerful relic, that will strip our souls from our bodies and fuel a nightmare storm of undeath. He called it the Mortium Vivicus. Apparently our king has already begun plans to deal with the situation, but should the Lord of Brutality be allowed to make use of this? So you can see the benefit here to having done the Fighters Guild quest first, because I had context for this. So that's why I'm trying to do things in chronological order, because although there are paradoxes, because this all can, in theory, happen simultaneously. Seeing old friends that recognize you. And they have the dialogue for that. So, the first time that I had finished the main quest, I had really explored and met all of the other leaders. They recognized me. They didn't have to, threaten me. Oh, I remember you. You saved my life. So, oh, you saved whatever.
I take it that you are the one who read my note. The spells I placed upon it alerted me that non-Daedra eyes examined the writing. I do hope that you are a member of the force from Tamriel. If so, I have something to show you.
What have you discovered?
This vault contains a portal, and the power emanating from it is overwhelming. Something on the other side seems to pierce the veil of illusion that hangs over this ruined library.
Do you think it's dangerous?
Inconsequential. Whatever it is, it may serve a purpose in our battle against the Lord of Coldharbour. If we can acquire it, then this excursion will not have been a complete waste of time.
I think that danger is completely inconsequential. You must have some idea what the source of power is.
I have my suspicions, but I hate to speculate. If you must know, I think it might be one of the fabled lights of Meridia. The sources of power she used to hurl the hollow city into Coldharbour. Come in and we shall investigate further.
Of course, she would try to figure out whether or not this is just a compelling mystery that is in fact illusion magic, and I don't really trust that this is him. That's an oblivion portal, my friend.
Enter the portal and find the source of the power I sense emanating from the other side.
Yeah. Why do you want me to do this?
Because I don't completely trust myself. While I have avoided the illusions that trap the others, I can still feel the pull of the Daedric spell. Find the power source and meet me at our camp outside the ruins. And take this token, just in case.
What does the token do?
Once you go through the portal, the token will attune itself to the access point. If you get lost, use the token and it will return you to the portal. What was once a curiosity that won me fortune and acclaim is now a vital tool in our mission.
Note to the audience, don't walk into Oblivion portals. I mean, I do it all the time, but don't.
These lights of Meridia can free me from Molag Baal's bondage. Find them and bring them to me.
Oh. Yeah, see, that was done out of order. I already freed him. So there, you know, there are some anachronisms and issues with them trying to write everything simultaneously, but I think they did a pretty good job. This game takes a lot of crap for, in many people's opinions, kind of messing up the lore and shoving so much stuff into the game in one period of time, but I don't really have an answer for, you know, I don't think they really have an answer either. How do I get out of here? Library, okay. They don't really have the answer in terms of what else were they going to do? You know, they're saying, from most of the criticism that I've seen online, it's mostly that, you know, how come this didn't show up in later stuff? Well, they had to go back in time.
Never a dull moment.
Okay. I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, obviously, or I wouldn't be playing this, you know. I think it has better storytelling than the majority of the games. I might be biased because I don't get misgendered all the time. Maybe these people are just mad at the loss of the majority of the racism and abuse and the fact that everybody was called he. I don't know, you know? Maybe that's it. But as far as storytelling goes, I think it does a pretty decent job. So, head to their camp.
You look like a sturdy one.
I don't see the book. I'm trying to run around finding the book. Alright. That's probably not a good idea. Keep wanting to... Okay, it's down this way. Keep wanting to levitate. And then being constantly disappointed when I can't.
Welcome back, my friend. Did you find it? Was I right? Was the source of power I sensed one of the fabled lights of Meridia?
You were right. I found this on the other side of the portal.
By the 8th, that crystal! It is a light of Meridia. It is said that these orbs of power once allowed Meridia to transport an entire city into Coldharbour. If an agent of Meridia harnesses this power force, we shall gain a distinct advantage. With Meridia's light, we can turn the tide of this campaign. Kirith said you came from the Hollow City. We shall go there once everyone has had a chance to rest. Thank you for your help. You know, you remind me of one of my students.
What will you do now?
Once inside the Hollow City, we'll begin helping with the war effort. We must test the lights of Meridia and investigate methods for destroying Molag Bal's plane meld mechanism. There is always research to do in campaigns such as this.
So I believe in later, they tried to make everything work as though it were simultaneous, and I believe later on they've actually put in, time progression. So that certain things do come later. I imagine, you know, after many, many years, it just became very complicated. Anyway, let's enjoy the light of this incredibly bleak fire in this incredibly bleak place. You know what? I'm just going to look at my new gear. Thank you for joining me. Ah! Cadwell.
Ah, there you are. The groundskeeper said you had a pickup. I assumed she was talking about this merry band. Good to see them alive and well. They are alive, right? Not that I mind the odd zombie, it's the smell I can't abide. Nasty, that. Ugh.
They're exhausted, but they're alive.
Yes, whenever I visit a library and do some reading, I usually fall right to sleep. Can't keep my eyes open. Great for when I get insomnia. But enough about my sleeping habits. I shall do my heroic duty and bring them back to the city unharmed.
Make sure they get back in one piece.
No worries there. Almost all the people I've traveled with over the years have remained in one piece for the duration. I've seen the odd dismemberment, but that's far more the exception than the rule.
Alright. Thank you, Cadwell. Still bleak. Gear still awesome. Thanks for joining me.